Welcome friends, welcome back to the new lesson, Lost Spring. Before going into the lesson, let us find out more about the author Anis Jung. Anis Jung, 1964, was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. She received her education in Hyderabad and in the USA. Her parents were both writers. Anis Jung began her career as a writer in India. She has been an editor and columnist for major newspapers in India and abroad, and has authored several books. The following is an excerpt from her book titled Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. Here she analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn these children to a life of exploitation. That was Anis Jung. And Lost Spring, the title indicates the lost childhood of millions of children in India. Spring stands for the best of all seasons. Metaphorically speaking, spring stands for childhood in a person's life, because that is the best period in a person's life, the happiest and the most energetic period. The phase of childhood is all about innocence, energy, happiness, and tremendous inclination towards playing outside. But here Anis Jung talks about the national shame of children being forced to a life of poverty and exploitation. The main two protagonists of these lessons, Mukesh and Saheb-e-Alam, do not live their life and do not live their childhood, do not enjoy their childhood as many other children in India do. They are forced to carry the burden of poverty and illiteracy. In their miserable stories of exploitation, the author provides us glimpses of fortitude and resilience. The first part of this lesson, Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage, it tells about the author's impressions about the life of rag pickers in Simapuri. Simapuri is a place in the northeast of Delhi. The rag pickers have been migrated from Dhaka, Bangladesh in 1971 during Indo-Bangladesh War and the liberation of Bangladesh. There was an influx of immigrants or refugees from Bangladesh during those times. Many settled in northeastern part of India, and many others came to different parts of India including Delhi. So they settled in a desert-like place called Simapuri in the periphery of Delhi, living their lives there, rather surviving there. Garbage is a means of survival for these people. For elders, it's a means of survival. For children, it's wrapped in wonder. They too have ambitions but are unreachable for them, like playing tennis or wearing good shoes. Saheb-e-Alam, which means Lord of the Universe, is finding a job at a tea stall where he is not happy because the job takes away his freedom. The first paragraphs of the first part introduces the boy Saheb-e-Alam and where he came from. We will go to the first part, which is titled Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage. Why do you do this? The author asks Saheb, the scrounger boy, rag picker boy, whom I encounter every morning, scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. Scrounging here means searching for something, scrounging. So next part is very important. Whatever I have marked with green color is very important. You underline these points in your textbook. So where does Saheb come from? So question 2-3 questions are asked on the same answer. What did Saheb's mother say about leaving their home in Dhaka and coming to Simapuri? Why did Saheb's parents leave Dhaka and migrate to India? To which country did Saheb's parents originally belong? Why did they come to India? These questions are asked by CBSE. What is the answer? Saheb left his home long ago. Set amidst the green fields of Dhaka, his home is not even a distant memory. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes, his mother tells him. So he came from Dhaka in 1971 after the liberation of Bangladesh during Indo-Pak War as a migrant, as a refugee. Here the reason is many storms that swept away their fields and homes. So you can also give a reference to Indo-Pak War of 1971 and the influx of refugees to India during that time. That is why they left, looking for gold. What is this gold? This is gold. This waste, this is gold. Let's find out what is the irony in the name Saheb-e-Alam. Next page. After months of knowing him, I ask him his name. Saheb-e-Alam, he announces. He does not know what it means. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the Universe, what is the meaning? Lord of the Universe. He would have a hard time believing it. Unaware of what his name represents, what is the meaning of his name, he roams the streets with his friends. That is the irony. A question was asked. Describe the irony in Saheb's name. This is asked many times, not only one time. You have to write what is his name, Saheb-e-Alam. Its meaning, Lord of the Universe. And what is the irony? Even when the name is Lord of the Universe, he roams around doing rag picking with his friends. The author notices that these children are barefooted. She asks the reason. Let's see whether the author is convinced about these reasons. The author asks these children, why aren't you wearing chappals? So what are the reasons that they give? Saheb says, my mother did not bring them down from the shelf. He answers simply. Another one adds, even if she brings it down, he will not wear it, he will throw them off. So they do not like to wear chappals. And another one is wearing shoes that do not match. When I comment on it, he shuffles his feet. Shuffles means slide one over the other. Shuffles the feet and says nothing. I want shoes, says third boy. So first one doesn't like to wear, second one is wearing different pairs, and the third one has never worn a shoe and he wants shoes. I have seen children walking barefoot in cities on village roads. It is not lack of money but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. People explain it. It's a tradition. But the author doesn't believe it. What she thinks? I wonder. Next page. If this is only an excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. This is only an excuse. Actual reason is poverty. Now the author tells a story from Udupi 30 years back, when the son of a poor priest once prayed for a pair of shoes. Once he got the shoes, he also prayed that it should never be lost from him. The next paragraph talks about a boy who prayed to God to gift him a pair of shoes. That is 30 years back. The author says now the boy has grown and his son is wearing shoes and all the uniforms. So the times have changed. But last sentence, but many others like the rag pickers in my neighborhood remain shoeless. Now the author describes the place Simapuri and the living conditions of people surviving there in Simapuri. Now the next paragraph is very important. It talks about the reality of life prevailing in Simapuri. Simapuri is a place in northeast of Delhi. So my acquaintance with the barefoot rag pickers leads me to Simapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi. Periphery means outer area. A periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it metaphorically. I have underlined this sentence. It's very, very important. What does it mean? So Simapuri is a place in the outer area of Delhi, near to Delhi, yet miles and miles away from it metaphorically, symbolically, because Delhi represents the glory, past glory of India and present glory of India. It is the capital of India. But Simapuri, a place near to Delhi, in distance, but in sense and in condition, it is far, far away from Delhi. Those who live here are squatters. Squatters, who are squatters? A person who unlawfully occupies an uninhabited building or unused land. So they are squatters. These rag pickers are squatters who came from Bangladesh back in 1971. 1971, when you go to Wikipedia or any other site, you will find it is Indo-Pak War. There was an influx of refugees, migrants from Bangladesh to India through northeast, and many came to Delhi also. Saheb's family is among them, among those refugees. Simapuri was then a wilderness in 1971. Wilderness means desert, wasteland. It is still a wilderness, but it is no longer empty. That is the difference. Now it is filled with these rag pickers in structures of mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of sewage, drainage or running water. Live 10,000 rag pickers. in Simapuri. So if you watch the movie Traffic Signal, it depicts the life of these rag pickers. Or there is a short film named The Camera. You can see that it tells the story of two rag picker boys. You can find out the condition of rag pickers in these movies, and even in Slumdog Millionaire, it's about slums. So they have lived here for more than 30 years without an identity. Very important for exam point of view. Without identity, without permits, but with ration cards that get their names on voters list and enable them to buy grain. They will get food from ration shops. Food is more important for survival than identity. They do not care about identity or identity card. They want food. Every human beings ultimately want food. If at the end of the day we can feed our families and go to bed without an aching stomach, we would rather live here than in the fields that gave us no grain in Bangladesh. Say a group of women in tattered saris, tattered, torn or old, in poor condition. So a question that is asked from this part in CBSE examination. So 3 questions, and that too many times. Describe the life of squatters in Simapuri. So you have to chew and digest this paragraph. Give a brief account of the life and activities of people like Saheb-e-Alam living in Simapuri. It is asked 2011. In 1971, Bangladeshi migrants came to Delhi looking for gold in the big city. What kind of life are they living in Simapuri now? So write this question and the answer from this paragraph. So then coming to the end of this one, wherever they find food, they pitch their tents, they make their houses, and that become their transit homes. Children grow up with them, becoming partners in survival. And survival in Simapuri means rag picking. Survival equal to rag picking here. Through the years, it has acquired the proportions of a fine art. It is not just their job, it is an art for them. Garbage to them is gold. So it's an exaggeration used here, exaggeration and also metaphor. Garbage is compared to gold. It is their daily bread, a roof over their heads. 2 things, daily bread and roof over their heads. Even if it is a leaking roof, at least they get a shelter. But for a child, it is even more. We will find later what is it for a child. I sometimes find a rupee, even a 10 rupee note. Saheb says something more. A curiosity factor is there in garbage. They may find something valuable. Saheb says, his eyes lighting up. When you can find a silver coin in a heap of garbage, you don't stop scrounging. For there is hope for finding more, something valuable. Maybe one day gold, some money. It seems that for children, garbage has a meaning different from what it means to their parents. And this part is very important, this sentence. Underline it. The question, garbage has 2 different meanings. One for the children and another for adults. Very important question. 2 times asked, even more than 2 times it is asked. For the children, it is wrapped in wonder. Very important. Underline. For the elders, it is a means of survival. Okay, wrapped means covered. Wrapper, toffee wrappers. Saheb-e-Alam is happy watching tennis. One winter morning, I see Saheb standing by the fenced gate of a neighborhood club, watching 2 young men dressed in white playing tennis. Is a comparison. His dress and their dress white. I like the game, he hums. I go inside when no one is around, he admits. The gatekeeper lets me use the swing. So sometimes the benevolent, kind gatekeeper allows him to use the swing inside the park. Saheb too is wearing tennis shoes that look strange over his discolored shirt and shorts. So comparison of white shirt of these players with discolored shirt of this boy. Someone gave them to me, he says in the manner of an explanation. The fact that they are discarded shoes of some rich boy who perhaps refused to wear them because of a hole in one of them does not bother him. He is not bothered about that. For one who walked barefoot, even shoes with a hole is a dream come true. But the game he is watching so intently is out of his reach. Whatever we say, tennis is a game of the rich. It is out of his reach. Saheb got a new job. What is this job? Is he happy about this job? Let's find out. This morning, Saheb is on his way to the milk booth. In his hand is a steel canister. What is canister? Canister is a steel container or a tin container. So picture is here. We carry milk, fetch milk in this steel canister. I now work in a tea stall down the road, he says, pointing in the distance. I am paid 800 rupees and all my meals. 800 rupees per month. Does he like the job? I ask. Is he answering? His face, I see, has lost the carefree look now because he is working under somebody. The steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag he would carry so lightly over his shoulder. The bag was his, the canister belongs to the man who owns the tea shop. That is the difference. He was his own master. Saheb is no longer his own master now. Earlier he was his own master. He was doing the work his own, going to the garbage dumps and picking rags or garbage, scraps. So now he is working under somebody. He lost his freedom. So a question was asked. We will see this. See, 3 times it is not, 3 times, many times it is asked in different ways. What does the writer mean when she says Saheb is no longer his own master? 2 times. Do you think Saheb was happy to work at the tea stall? Answer, giving reasons. What job did Saheb take up? Was he happy? So it's very important. So underline it, mark it. So a long question is asked. Why did Saheb become a rag picker? What did he look for in the garbage dumps? So it's not from this part, from this entire first part. So you have to write this. Why did Saheb become a rag picker? So you have to talk about the conditions in which they became rag pickers. They are not able to attend the schools because no identity card. The poor conditions in which they live. Their parents are rag pickers and these children also follow their paths. So write these important questions and mark the important points from this part. Now let's go to a mind map prepared for this lesson. I have prepared this mind map for you. This is for last spring part 1. See, when you go to the mind map, who are they? Saheb from Dhaka migrated in 1971. Storms destroyed fields and homes. Irony in his name, Saheb-e-Alam. So all those things are there. And about barefoot boys, one doesn't like to wear chappals and another one wears mismatching shoes and third one wants shoes. And explanation, it's a tradition. But other doubts, she thinks that it may be poverty. Saheb's longing for childhood. He watches tennis and wears all tennis shoes. Tennis is out of his reach. Rag picking, very important, 2 meanings. For adults, means of survival. For children, it is wrapped in wonder. And here, author's encounter with Saheb. Meets him rag picking, advised him to go to school, promises to open a school, and embarrassed at hollow promises made to these children. Sub-story of the priest's son, priest's barefoot son in Udupi 30 years ago. Longing for a pair of shoes, his son wears shoes now, but rag pickers still shoeless. Life in Simapuri, far from glory of city's charm. They are from Bangladesh in 1971. Mud houses, tarpaulin as roof, no sewage, drainage or running water. Only boon is valid ration card to get grains. Happy that they get grain. And Saheb's new job, work on tea stall, earns 800 per month, appears burdened. No freedom now, no longer his own master. A container is heavier than rag picking bag. Please write this mind map in your notebook and it will be a ready reference for your exams. When talking about rag pickers, I would like to give you the reference of 2 books. One is an Indian book, Road to Freedom, written by Dr. Bindeshwar Pathak, a Gandhian who talks about ways to eradicate rag picking in India. When we go to the international scenario, Reclaiming the Discarded, Life and Labor of Rio's Garbage Dump, written by Kathleen M. Miller, talks about the garbage pickers, rag pickers of Rio de Janeiro, who are called catadores in Brazil. The Smile of a Rag Picker by Paul Glynn talks about the life of Satoko Kitara, a rag picker from Tokyo. When you're coming to movies, I found a very beautiful short movie about rag pickers, Camera, Kamera, an award-winning short film directed by Nijo Johnson, and two documentaries. First one, Waste, a documentary by Parashar Barova, and The Rag Picker, a documentary. This is exclusively about the rag pickers of Simapuri. You can find the links to these books and documentaries and films in the description. We also have two mainstream films. One is Madhur Bhandarkar film, The Traffic Signal, and another one is Slumdog Millionaire. For more reference, you can watch these movies and read these books. That's all about this lesson. Read the chapter 2-3 times, underline the important points, and write the question answers. Prepare the mind map and be ready for the second part of this lesson. I hope you enjoyed today's lessons. Thank you.